The last band that you have to do will also be a transitional band, only it will be a textured band. The way that we do this is use a symbol or you can use a letter from the alphabet. Make sure that your application strokes are small and that they are consistently about the same size. The way to go about this is to create symbols and spread them out. Try not to be too pattern-like. In this case, I'm using zeros. You can use numbers, but anything that will give you a consistent pattern over the extent of this band. Start by spacing them out very far apart, and then as you create more layers, the same as the way you did the transitional tone, just put a few more shapes in that area and go all the way across, leaving the area that is your lightest area to have the least amount of images in it. What you'll eventually have is a patterned gradated band of value. You can see this first group, I'm really spacing them out a lot, trying not to create a row anywhere so that it doesn't look like a pattern. Now, if you end up going over the edge, that's okay, because we can erase those afterwards. So now we have a fairly even, very open pattern. So the next one, I'm just going to add a few more shapes in between. Make sure that you kind of have a look that is fairly consistent. So by the time you get to this dark area, you will have a lot of symbols that create the darkness, and they will start to overlap, and in the darkest areas you probably will hardly see any light at all. Okay, so here's our second round, so now I'm going to do a third one. I'm going to start here. And go all the way across again. Be consistent in the shape and draw them carefully. Control it. Always control the stroke. You'll get much better results. The pressure on my pencil has not changed, regardless of where I am on the page. All right, now we're even going to go farther in. And I'll start back here somewhere because this is starting to get a little crowded, so I'm going to really step it back. You want it, as you're going back, you want it to be uniform as much as possible for each application. You don't want areas to be too crowded as you are working each layer. Look at it as you're working on it and say, does this look even to me? And they're going to start to overlap as they become more dense. All right, so next one I'll start back here somewhere. And you can see how they're starting to get really close together. In this case, I used R's, and you can see they just start to get really, really crowded towards the dark end, and that gives you your textural transition.